Hi, everyone. So I've been asked again and again, what's up with the weird dreams during COVID? So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about dreams more generally. So, what goes on when we're dreaming? Well, one thing you should know is if you're aware of dreaming, it means that you are sleeping lightly. The only way that we know that we're dreaming is when we have little wake ups during or right after. We have to have a chemical called acetylcholine that's released during this time in order to be aware. So, I'm going to walk you through what's going on in your brain. First of all, we're going to start at the stem of the brain, the very base of it. In the brainstem, this is actually where rapid eye movement sleep is generated. Rapid eye movement sleep is the primary stage in which we dream. We dream in other stages too. But during rapid eye movement sleep, it used to be called paradoxical sleep because the sleep that we get when we're in REM sleep is so light that it's as if we're awake. So, of course, this is going to be the stage of sleep that we're going to be most prone to knowing that we're dreaming or being or waking up and saying, oh, I just had a dream. So, we also have the motor cortex activated. And when we have the motor cortex activated, we have a sense that we are moving. Even though our body is typically paralyzed, our muscles are paralyzed during dreams, we have this really vivid sense that we are moving. And in the visual cortex, the visual association cortex, we actually can see brilliant visual imagery. So it seems very real. Now, we should keep in mind that the kind of activity in your brain that's occurring is random neural firings, which then become associated with different areas of the cortex. And so it's kind of random what's happening, and your brain is trying to organize that information into images and experiences and a narrative, even though your brain is fairly asleep. The cerebellum is involved as well, this tiny little structure at the base of the brain here. So this is, again, this perception of movement, but also your senses. If you've ever had a vivid dream with your senses being involved, that's the area. What about your emotions? Your limbic system is involved. And so you very frequently will experience emotion during your dreams. Your executive control, though, the decision making, rational thought, and the way that you really probably could organize that information, those random firings, in a better way, in a more logical way, that's asleep. And so that's why you get these dreams where you're saying, well, we were at this place and you were there, but you weren't there because you were a zebra. Um, that's where some of that material comes from. So you're probably wondering, if you're kind of awake, can you influence somebody's dreams? And specifically, do current events like COVID make it in your dreams? And I don't have a great answer for you. There's some studies that suggest kind of, and other studies that say no. So I'm going to give you one that's a close kind of cousin to what's going on right now. During the 1990s, there were these debates in the United States for the presidential race between Clinton, Bush, and Ross Perot. And they were kind of spirited debates. And they did this study in which they had people keep track of their dreams over the next 2 weeks while these debates were going on. And what they found is about 50% of people reported having some material in there about the debates. So for some people, it does seem to get in. So we could expect that some COVID-related material might make it in. Certainly people are blogging a lot or tweeting a lot or making videos online about COVID dreams. People are talking about it quite a bit. I'm going to get back to that in a second, though. I'm going to move my face because it's right in the way of my quote there. When I was a kid, I loved the Flintstones, and there was this one episode that I really loved where Wilma Flintstone was trying to persuade her husband, Fred, while he slept, to do things for her during the day. And so she would say, Fred, you want your wife to have a mink coat. And then you'd see him go, a mink coat, while he was sleeping. And at first it worked well, but then he was on to her, and then And then, of course, there's a lesson to be learned. And of course, you can imagine how many people, for dubious reasons, would want to influence your dreams. But we're not really that good at doing that. The earliest study that I am aware of was Bill Dement, the grandfather of sleep medicine, in which he would spray people while they're sleeping with a water bottle. And some of them would report, oh, I was dreaming of a leaky shower, or something that was relevant to water. People will talk about that an ambulance was going by when an ambulance was actually going by outside, and they incorporated into their dreams. But generally speaking, we're not really good at influencing somebody's dreams. This seems to be most successful when we ask people to think about things that are personally relevant for them. And that's the best way to do it. And you'd have to measure over several nights, because it doesn't really work that well. You tell them to do it one night, and then that night it's going to be in their dreams. Not likely. Okay, so people are asking me, well, what do I do about this, Dr. Carney? And I'd say, well, why do you have to do anything about it? I think a better question is, it's not, what do I do about these dreams? It's probably, what do I do about my light sleep? Because that's causing your awareness of your dreams. So what can you do about light sleep? Well, keeping active, physically active, challenging if you're still under quarantine, that's tricky. And not spending too much time in bed. A lot of people are spending a lot of time in bed, a lot more than the 8.5 hours that would probably be plenty. That actually sends a message to our compensatory system to produce less deep sleep. So you probably want to be really active. And you want to avoid something called rapid eye movement sleep rebound. So that happens when you ingest substances like alcohol or weed right before bed. It suppresses REM initially, and then it rebounds in a much bigger way, and then you're much more likely to get really an intensification of rapid eye movement sleep, which lots of weird dreams, sweating, all kinds of weird stuff. So you might want to avoid that. And of course, some of the reason why our sleep is light is because people are stressed right now. They're stressed about their job. They're stressed about the pandemic. There's protests everywhere, and things we're seeing on TV are extremely upsetting right now. And so certainly managing some of that emotion would be helpful as well. If you're specifically dreaming about COVID-19, it might be time to unplug. I hope you enjoyed it. That's my little talk on dreams. Please follow me on social media. My daughter is very embarrassed at how little followers I have, and I hope that you sleep well.